Welcome back to TandoorChats, a space where stories simmer slowly, where identity travels across continents, and where we explore the human experiences that shape us, soften us, and sometimes set us on fire. I'm your host, Trisha, a traveler, a storyteller, a Fauji kid, and someone who believes that conversations can build bridges across cultures, borders, and generations. Today's episode is one I've been holding close to my heart. Courage has no borders. And today on Tandoor Chats, I want to talk about what that really means, not in theory, not in textbooks, but in the world we're living in right now. I'm sitting here in the United States, thousands of miles away from the land where I was born, remembering three young men, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev, who fought for India's independence almost a century ago. And the question isn't why them? The real question is why now? Why here? Why does their courage still matter to someone living in a completely different country, in a completely different time? March 23 is remembered as Shaheed Diwas, Martyrs' Day, a day India honors three young revolutionaries who believed that freedom and dignity were worth everything. They were barely in their 20s. They didn't have privilege or protection. What they had was conviction, the kind that doesn't negotiate with fear. They didn't wait to become older. They didn't wait to become perfect. They didn't wait for permission. They acted because their conscience demanded it. And that's why their story matters today, not just in India, but everywhere. Because courage is not cultural, courage is not national, courage is human. It belongs to the woman who refuses to shrink, the immigrant who refuses to disappear, the young person who refuses to accept the world as it is, the community that refuses to stay silent. In every corner of the world, someone right now is choosing courage over comfort. And maybe this story feels so alive to me because I've had my own moments of choosing dignity in the face of injustice. As a woman of color living in the US, I have felt racism. I felt the sting of being underestimated. I felt the quiet cruelty of being spoken over or dismissed. Moments where the world expected me to shrink. And every time I had a choice: break or breathe, react or rise, shrink or stand tall. I chose dignity. Not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. And in those moments, I understood something Bhagat Singh and his comrades knew deeply: that dignity is a form of resistance, that holding your ground quietly, firmly, is its own revolution. So, why am I sitting here in America talking about three young men from India's history? Because courage has no borders. Because injustice still exists everywhere. Because the world still needs people who choose truth over fear. Because I, too, have walked through fire and chosen to stay whole. And because their story reminds me and reminds all of us that ordinary people can still shape the world. So today, I want to ask you, not as a host, but as a fellow human being, where does courage live in your life? Maybe it's in speaking up. Maybe it's in walking away. Maybe it's in healing. Maybe it's in starting again. Maybe it's in telling your story even when your voice shakes. Bhagat Singh once said that the sword of revolution is sharpened on the whetting stone of ideas. And I believe every act of courage, big or small, sharpens the world a little more. So, on this Shaheed Diwas, I honor 3 young men from India's history. But I also honor you, wherever you are, whatever you are fighting for, whatever truth you are holding. May you remember this. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else matters more. And courage has no borders. Neither does hope. This is Tandoor Chats, where stories travel, where identity breathes, and where courage is always welcome.